Today in Salt Lake City, the U.S. men's national soccer team continues CONCACAF Gold Cup play as they face longtime political adversary, Cuba.
The CONCACAF Gold Cup, the most prestigious soccer tournament in North America, Central America, and the Caribbean. The Gold Cup Championship has eluded Team USA since 2007.
The United States are the champions of the Gold Cup.
But Coach Jurgen Klinsmann is intent on changing that. With a crushing 6-1 victory over Belize to start the tournament, Klinsmann's men have set their eyes on the trophy. Team USA battles Cuba. Live from Salt Lake City, the CONCACAF Gold Cup starts now on Fox.
This is what the Gold Cup is all about.
A U.S. victory would equal their longest winning streak in the program's 100-year history. It would also ensure a spot in the quarterfinals, and that man, Landon Donovan, in the starting 11 today. Cuba, they enter in a much different situation. It's a must-win situation for them. 3-0 losers Tuesday to Costa Rica has them in third place in Group C and in danger of missing out on the knockout stage. Both Costa Rica and the States would move on to the quarterfinals with wins today in Utah. Today, the action from Rio Tinto Stadium, the home of Major League Soccer's Real Salt Lake side. Group C in action today as the battle for regional supremacy carries on. And we welcome you inside our Fox Sports LA studio. This is the CONCACAF Gold Cup pregame show presented by Sprint, official sponsor of the CONCACAF Gold Cup. Rob Stone, joined by ex-international from England, Warren Barton, and the all-time appearance leader for the U.S. men's national team, Kobe Jones. This 12-team tournament for the region's top honor has long been headlined by Mexico and the United States. They've combined to win 10 of the 11 editions of this tournament, but the States, Kobe, they haven't won it since '07. Why can that change this year?
Well, I really think this time it's really about the depth and the experience that this U.S. team has right now. You know, you look at the players that they have, Landon Donovan, Oguchi Onyewu, those are the ones that are coming, you know, for their second international appearance here. I mean, they're solid all the way through.
I'm excited to look at this. I think when you look at the US and the way that they've gone about the business in the first game, they was outstanding. They've got competition. The pressure's on someone like Landon Donovan, which he's not had for a long time. And I'm excited for someone like Stuart Holden, who's a breath of fresh air to the game. He enjoys the game, so watch out for him this afternoon.
And Holden in the starting 11 today. We'll have more on that in just a moment. The States currently, they sit on top of this group, courtesy of a superior goal differential over Costa Rica. The Ticos in action later today, live on Fox Soccer. Top two teams from each group and the two best third-place teams, they all move on to the knockout stage. Both the U.S. and Costa Rica, they would advance with a victory today. Let's take a look at our Sprint lineup. Sprint, the official sponsor of the CONCACAF Gold Cup. Kobe, the States, making 6 changes from their Tuesday lineup.
Yeah, 6 changes, but they have a lot of experience coming in here. And Onyewu in the back, so you move right up. Stuart Holden, first start since 2010, but he's so dynamic in the midfield. And then obviously Landon Donovan, the number 10 up top, the all-time leading scorer for the United States with 52 goals. You know, he's going to really lead this team through.
Cuba, Warren, losers of 5 straight Gold Cup matches, ranked 82nd in the world. Here's how they start.
Yeah, but they have got experience, Rob. You look at the goalkeeper, this is his 6th tournament, so you talk about that with over 100 caps. In midfield, the 2 holding midfield players, particularly Valencia, he will try and get forward. Number 3 has actually got over 100 caps as well, so they have got that balance. Look for Gomez at number 20, he'll try and slide in there, and Martinez on the left-hand side. So they're a talented team that they're going to here to defend.
Well, for more on today's match, we send it live to Salt Lake, and the gentleman who will have the call for you, Eric Winaldo and Gus Johnson. But Gus, how was that American Outlaws party last night, my friend?
Rob, you got me. I had a great time hanging out with the Outlaws, talking United States soccer, and hopefully as this tournament progresses, we'll get a chance to kick it with those guys a little bit more.
Fun people. Definitely fun group.
No doubt about it. Meanwhile, when you look at the Gold Cup, one of the great things, as you know, about this tournament for the United States is that a lot of the young players get a chance to get opportunities, and we'll see that this afternoon.
Well, not everybody actually pulls it off, and history will tell you that. Guys like Pablo Mascherani never played in a World Cup qualifier, but he got on the team, on the World Cup team, because of his performances in a Gold Cup. A guy like Clarence Goodson, he also did the same thing. Beasley is another example of that. So there's a lot of opportunity. You can't play bad You can't afford to play bad, but if you play well, you might stick it out.
While the young guys get opportunity, there's one old guy, and he's a pretty good player by the name of Landon Donovan.
We call him old now?
Yeah, that's right. He's an old guy, 31 years old. He'll get a chance to continue his comeback.
You know, and look, we got to see him this morning, got to see him with the group. He's saying all the right things. He's doing all the right things on the field and off the field, on the field and on it. And I think the most important part for him is to fit in now. He had his hiatus. Some of the guys didn't look at that as something they would have done, taken off to Cambodia. Now he's back. But again, when Landon Donovan is on the field, this team's better.
All right, time now to join the third member of our team roaming the pitch. Here's Grant Wall.
Thanks, Gus. As Landon Donovan tries to earn his way back onto the U.S. World Cup qualifying team, he's been making some history of his own lately. Last week, he became the first U.S. men's player to hit 50 goals in his international career, and on Tuesday, he became the first to hit 50 assists. Donovan also had his greatest goal-scoring day ever against Cuba in the 2003 Gold Cup, scoring 4 times to tie an all-time record. He told me yesterday that he would love to see history repeat itself. Let's send it back to Rob in the studio.
All right, Grant, thank you. Landon Donovan, 3 goals, 2 assists in his last 2 games for the U.S. men's national team. We're looking forward to some of your pictures today around this game using Instagram and the hashtag Gold Cup on Fox. Send us your best pics from the game, the couch, or maybe even the bowels of Rio Tinto Stadium. Gus and Eric pregame catching up with U.S. boss Jurgen Klinsmann. One of the big stories from Game 1 for the U.S. The much-anticipated breakout performance from that man, Chris Wondolowski. More on the reigning MLS MVP and league-leading scorer when we return.
Trying to get around that last defender. Plays it up for grabs. And blasted home by Wondolowski. Into the box to header. There's Wondolowski again.
Here comes the cross. It's in. It's a hat trick for Wondolowski.
The CONCACAF Gold Cup pregame show is presented by Sprint, official sponsor of the CONCACAF Gold Cup.
Las Vegas native Herculez Gomez getting the start up top for the U.S. Chris Wondolowski had the hat trick last game. What does it earn him? A seat on the bench. Here's more on the Chico State product.
My name is Chris Wondolowski, play forward. I have a couple of nicknames. Wando is one of them. I've been Wando since 1st grade. Badai, it's my Indian name, Native American. 2012 being the MVP was a great highlight, and it's a huge honor. Hey guys, can I get an MVP chant here? Come on. MVP, MVP. I'm gonna leave you guys off with an awesome autograph. As you can tell with a long name, I scribble every letter. And I'll leave you guys with a little happy face, because big smiles. Thanks, guys, and I'm out.
Wando strikes me as the guy who has a lot of those smiley emoticons when he's texting you. And notice, no spelling of the last name on the back of the jersey. You want to try and avoid that problem that he had the other day. No problems on the field for him versus Belize. A hat trick. He's one of essentially 2 forwards in this Gold Cup for Jurgen Klinsmann. The other, Herculez Gomez, who gets the start today with Wando on the bench. What is that telling you, Kobe?
Well, it tells me that Chris Wondolowski has passed the test, that Jurgen Klinsmann is happy with everything he did. 3 goals, you have to be. And now it's time for Herculez Gomez. He's got to step up. He's the one. He's got to use his speed, his strength to get behind this defensive line and put it to the test. Have some shots from distance, score some goals.
Kobe, you're right as well, but I think Gomez would have started if it was on grass, if the first game. And I mean, that's a big issue for Jurgen Klinsmann. Now, you said Herculez Gomez has to come in. I do like him, though, because he's different to Chris, because Chris is a natural goal scorer, Kobe. You've seen that, his movement doesn't particularly bring other players into the game as well as maybe a Gomez does.
Gomez coming off a knee injury. That's why they elected not to let him play on the turf. A lot of pressure on Herc tonight. The other main story here at the Gold Cup outside of the U.S., that of struggling Mexico. Thursday, they didn't struggle. They dropped Canada 2-0, earning just their 3rd win of the calendar year. Got the goal here off the corner kick, added another penalty kick as well, but it's still Panama on top of Group A, and the Canal men have already locked up one of the 8 quarterfinal spots. The Mexico victory vaulted them into 2nd place. And for more on El Tri, who's in action tomorrow, here's Francisco X Rivera.
Thank you, Rob. Mexico arrived last night in Denver around 9 p.m. and this morning held a practice session at a local university. El Tri will come to Sports Authority Field to get familiar with the pitch close to 6 p.m. in what figures to be a rainy Saturday evening. Midfielder Jorge Enriquez is El Tri's only injury concern as he left Thursday's game bothered by left leg cramps. He will be evaluated today, as yesterday he was still showing signs of inflammation. Rob, back to you.
All right, Francisco, thank you. We transition now to Group B. Honduras through to the quarterfinals, courtesy of their 1-0 victory last night over El Salvador, and Haiti's triumph over TNT as that tiny island that has been through so much lately, dreaming of the knockout phase here at the CONCACAF Gold Cup. Throughout our coverage, current match commissioner for FIFA and CONCACAF, the good doctor, Dr. Joe Macnick, has been providing insight into the world of refereeing. And Dr. Joe, last time we saw the U.S., there was a play that still has you seeing and seething red.
Well, I tell you, Rob, we've seen both ends of the officiating spectrum in this tournament. The tackle we're talking about was a 100% red card tackle. A two-footed lunge with cleats exposed, done with excessive force. It's a perfect example of a red card, and for the referee to show a yellow card for this foul is an outrageous decision. It's very fortunate that the American player, Mix Disaru, was able to survive this tackle. On the other hand, last night in the Honduras-El Salvador match, we saw a fantastic offside flag down decision by Ricardo Morgan of Jamaica, the assistant referee. And one of the most difficult of all calls, judging a player coming out and attacking player going in, at the same time realizing the moment the ball is played. It's like judging two fast trains in the middle of the night and deciding the exact moment they pass each other. The assistant referee nailed this, the flag stayed down, and the winning goal was scored.
It is the toughest call in the game. Dr. Joe, as always, thanks for your input. We appreciate it. The countdown to kickoff, it is brought to you by Domino's. Oh, yes, we did. And when we return, Gus Johnson takes you inside the mind and heart of U.S. head coach Jurgen Klinsmann, the German legend leading an American soccer revival.
Soccer in the United States is not at a level yet, like it is in Brazil, Argentina, or Germany or Spain. We can evaluate other teams, other nations, and we know what we do good and what other teams do better than we do.
The CONCACAF Gold Cup pregame show is presented by Sprint, official sponsor of the CONCACAF Gold Cup.
And we welcome you back to our coverage of the CONCACAF Gold Cup. After a long run of American head coaches for the U.S., 2 years ago this month, the U.S. brass felt it was time for a new approach. So they went out and signed a German legend living in Orange County. Jurgen Klinsmann has brought plenty of new ideas and bodies to the U.S. national team as his transformation of the program continues. Gus Johnson recently caught up with the U.S. boss.
This is a big moment for me. It's a great thing to have someone who's been there.
I'm really proud to be part of the future of U.S. soccer.
Why do you think you were brought here to coach the United States national team?
Well, I think my wife brought me here.
We all got a boss, right?
Yes, thankfully. No, I mean, I was lucky enough to bump into a Californian girl in Europe. And now being in a position where I can guide the national team towards a World Cup next summer in Brazil, it's just a wonderful opportunity. Soccer in the United States is not at a level yet, like it is in Brazil, Argentina, or Germany or Spain. We can evaluate other teams, other nations, and we know what we do good and what other teams do better than we do. So we work on those issues. If we want to move the whole game forward, bringing in a more attacking approach, which takes more risk, and to compete with them on every little area on the field.
Do you think the talent is almost there to be able to compete with the big countries internationally?
I think that the talent pool is getting better and better every year. You see more and more American players playing in the big leagues in Europe, and it's because soccer is not a seasonal game like other big sports here in the U.S. It's 11 months a year. You try to explain to them that you got to live for it, you got to breathe it, you got to kind of sacrifice basically your life for that profession. And and they buy more and more into it, and hopefully over time we build a bigger pool of good players, good talent coming through.
Who are some of the young players that you're looking forward to seeing in this tournament?
We have young players like Joe Corona, for example, that we want to see. Jack McInerney in the front there, mixed Discarud in midfield, and it's the opportunity for them now to measure themselves with the more established players. Our biggest challenge is always to tell the players that you're never there. You know, there's always the next step. And you never can be content. In the moment you are content, you're done as an athlete. You know, you always have to be hungry for the next season, for the next win, for the next game.
This looks like it's going to be a very big tournament for Landon Donovan.
Yes, because Landon went through a stretch of his career now where he kind of asked himself a lot of questions, you know, and he took some time off, and now he gets back into the picture. He understands, you know, that it takes a lot of hard work to get back, you know, physically on that level, but also mentally. This Gold Cup for him will show him where he's at. You know, we will push him. We will demand from him, you know, the extra mile, you know, because of what he's capable to do.
And I'm sure you're not going to give him a free pass. When it's all said and done, do you want him on your World Cup team when that time comes?
Well, I want him just to stretch his limits, you know, to go as far as he can go. Does he have all the talent in the world? Yes, he proved that already. But talent is not enough, you know. It takes a lot of hard work as well. So, you know, we're working on a puzzle, you know, where we want to see over the next 4 weeks, you know, how good the guys are, who's a taker, who's a giver, you know, and how far we can take it. And we want to win this title badly.
Gus Johnson joins us live now from Salt Lake. And Gus, it was your first time chatting with Jurgen Klinsmann. You've dealt with a lot of head coaches, NFL, college football, college basketball, even Sir Alex. What was your take on Jurgen Klinsmann?
Well, you know, refreshing is the first word that comes to mind, Rob. I mean, here's a man that has a twinkle in his eye as if he knows a secret that nobody else knows about this team, and it's a positive secret, and you can tell that he's really excited to work with these gentlemen. He is definitely, though, going to create an environment of competition. He's letting his veteran players know that their jobs aren't secure. He's letting his young players know that if they work hard, they have opportunity to get, not only make this team, but get on the pitch. I think Chris Wondolowski is a perfect example of that story. So I think Jurgen Klinsmann, as the great player that he was, he is looking forward to furthering the efforts of this squad as they head into World Cup competition, and it's going to be fun to cover them as they continue to evolve.
He has wonderful energy, something you certainly can appreciate, my friend. All right, stay close, guys. We're heading back to the Wasatch Mountain Range in a moment for our keys to the game. The countdown to kickoff. It's brought to you by Domino's. Oh, yes, we did, and we're about 13 minutes away from kick. Today marks the 10th all-time meeting in the series that began back in 1947. The States, 7 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss, but unbeaten versus Cuba in Gold Cup play. We shift gears now to our Chevrolet keys to the game, and for that, we head back to Utah. Gus and Eric.
All right, thank you very much, Rob. And Jurgen Klinsmann telling us that advancing is the most important need for this squad. And they not only have to advance, but do it in a convincing way to continue to build on the confidence, which brings us to the keys to the match.
And how many times did he say cohesion today? I mean, that's one of the things that's really important to him. Yes, some of the positional changes are different people, but they got to keep that consistent. And don't lose your focus on a free kick. That was the one spot that I think a lot of people were upset with, and certainly the coaching staff addressed it. And since we're at elevation, let's elevate our game. Come on, let's keep it going. 12 goals the last 2 games. I'm expecting 6 more today.
All right, Klinsmann also said that the pressure is on the United States to get max points. It demands a lot of focus from the guys. We'll see if they are focused against Cuba. Now let's go back to Rob Stone.
All right, guys, thanks. Remember, a win and Captain America in the States off to the quarterfinals. The U.S., they moved up to 22nd in the most recent FIFA World Rankings. A Gold Cup title could get them into the top 20.
The CONCACAF Gold Cup pregame show was presented by Sprint, official sponsor of the CONCACAF Gold Cup.